Masood Zakaria is a towering figure in Sydney's criminal underworld, literally and because of his fearsome reputation. As the second in command of the notorious Alameddine crime clan, police allege he has played a central role in the escalating violence that has plagued the city in recent years. This tit-for-tat Gangland War, primarily between rival factions like the Alameddine and Hamzy clans, has seen blood spill across Sydney's streets in drive-by shootings, targeted assassinations, and daylight executions. For over a decade, these crime families have waged a brutal battle over turf, drug contracts, and criminal status, turning Western Sydney into a battleground. Zakaria's involvement in these conflicts has made him a top target for law enforcement, who have linked the Alameddine clan to over 13 fatal shootings in recent years. Despite the constant pressure from police, Zakaria managed to evade authorities and slip out of the country, leaving many to believe they had seen the last of him on Australian soil. His escape only added to his legend within Sydney's criminal circles, where his ability to stay one step ahead of the law solidified his status as a key player in the ongoing underworld war. However, even from afar, Zakaria's influence is believed to have lingered, contributing to the continuing violence that has claimed lives on both sides of the conflict. His ties to the Alameddine clan, one of Sydney's most powerful crime families, ensure that his name remains a major force in the city's gangland warfare. As the conflict rages on, Zakaria's story is a chilling reminder of the ruthlessness and violence that define Sydney's criminal underworld, where power is often won with bloodshed. Since 2020, the streets of Sydney's southwestern suburbs have been increasingly marked by violence and bloodshed, particularly involving the rival Hay family. Masood Zakaria, a key figure in the INE crime clan, is the heart of this turbulent landscape and the right-hand man to its notorious kingpin, Ibrahim. Known for his ruthless efficiency, Masood has played a critical role in orchestrating many of the murders targeting members of the Hay family, solidifying his reputation as a formidable enforcer in the Sydney underworld. The Hay clan, led by crime boss Bassam Hay, has long been entrenched in criminal operations throughout the region. Despite serving a 21-year sentence since 1999 for serious crimes, including drug supply, murder, and conspiracy to commit murder, Bassam has managed to maintain a significant grip on his empire. Reports suggest that from his cell in the Goldberg Supermax prison, he has continued to coordinate operations and orchestrate violence against rivals, demonstrating an alarming level of influence even behind bars. With parole not being an option until at least 2035 due to a history of multiple charges, Bassam's reach has instead been funneled through his family and associates, particularly his cousin Ibrahim Hay. This context creates a high-stakes environment where alliances are fleeting, and the quest for power drives individuals to increasingly desperate measures. Masood Zakaria has emerged as the driving force behind many of the INE clan's operations, leveraging his strategic thinking and connections to further the clan's interests. As rival factions clash, the balance of power remains in constant flux, and Masood's role becomes even more pivotal in the ongoing gang warfare. In December 2020, authorities sought to curb Masood's growing influence by imposing a severe crime prevention order against him. This legal maneuver aimed to limit his interactions with known criminals, particularly members of the Alameddine group, with whom the INE clan has had a contentious relationship. However, such efforts have proven challenging, as the very nature of organized crime thrives on clandestine operations and subterfuge. Masood's ability to navigate these restrictions while continuing to exert influence is a testament to his cunning and resourcefulness. As tensions escalated between the INE and Hay clans, it became clear that violence would be the primary means of settling scores. On August 14, 2021, police successfully foiled a plot to assassinate Ibrahim Hay, a significant figure within the Hay family and a direct cousin of Bassam. This operation underscored the escalating animosity between the rival factions and highlighted the lengths Masood and his allies would go to eliminate perceived threats. On a seemingly ordinary day in North Sydney, a routine police patrol turned into a chaotic scene that underscored the intense undercurrents of organized crime in the area. The local police, ever vigilant, noticed a stolen Mercedes parked in a no-parking zone, piquing their curiosity and prompting an immediate response. Little did they know, this would set off a series of events revealing the complexities of crime, loyalty, and desperation in Sydney's underbelly. Officers approached the vehicle and became aware of the mounting tension inside. The occupants, realizing their predicament, panicked and sped away, igniting a high-speed chase that would ultimately thwart a planned assassination attempt on Ibrahim Hay. Investigators closely monitored Hamzy, a figure with a reputation that preceded him, known for his connections and rivalries within the criminal world. Masood Zakaria, a notorious player in Sydney's underworld, organized the intended hit, whose reputation for orchestrating criminal enterprises was matched only by his cunning. Though police were confident that Masood had orchestrated the hit, they believed he wasn't in the stolen vehicle. Instead, he had likely orchestrated the operation from the shadows, using the stolen car as a tool for his criminal designs. This incident marked a turning point for law enforcement. It was evident that Masood's escalating influence posed a significant threat to public safety. The decision was made. It was time to remove Masood from the streets. On December 15, 2021, police executed a raid on Maud's home, targeting Masood with intentions to arrest him on conspiracy to murder charges. The stakes were high and tensions ran deep. Officers expected to find him amidst the chaos of his life, yet Masood had evaded capture in a twist of fate, possibly alerting him to the impending raid. His departure left behind an empty house and a wife and children who were suddenly thrust into the spotlight of a criminal investigation. In the days leading up to the raid on Maud's home on December 8th, police had also targeted Omar Zakaria, Masood's father-in-law. Under the authority of a search warrant, they scoured Omar's residence, seeking evidence of the alleged ill-gotten gains tied to Masood's operations. The raid yielded a shocking discovery: $200,000 in cash, 30 pieces of jewelry, and 210 precious gemstones hidden throughout the house. The police's findings vividly depicted the wealth accumulated from nefarious activities. Officers discovered $150,000 hidden in a black duffel bag, concealed in the depths of a cupboard within one of Omar's bedrooms. Additional sums of money were found in 2 safes, a suitcase, and a padlocked room in the back of the house. The sheer volume of valuables raised alarm bells, suggesting a sophisticated crime network tied directly to Masood. Crucially, police forensic teams found May's DNA on the black duffel bag, but none from her father, Omar. This revelation complicated the narrative for investigators as they attempted to piece together the financial puzzle surrounding Masood's activities. Omar claimed ignorance about the bag's contents, asserting he was unaware of the cash hidden within his home. He contended that he had only known of the bag and had never handled it directly. During the court proceedings, the prosecution argued that Omar had to know about the funds and their connection to his son-in-law's criminal dealings. The case rested heavily on circumstantial evidence and the assumption that the sheer volume of cash and valuables suggested a direct link to Masood. However, the defense maintained a different perspective. They highlighted the lack of direct evidence proving Omar's knowledge or involvement in criminal activity. In a dramatic turn, the court ultimately found itself unable to establish, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Omar had any knowledge of the black duffel bag or the significant sums of money it contained. Consequently, he was acquitted of 2 counts of dealing with proceeds of crime and 1 count of possessing suspected unlawfully obtained goods. The verdict sent ripples through the community and raised questions about the effectiveness of law enforcement's approach to dismantling organized crime. Meanwhile, the fallout from the stolen Mercedes incident and the failed assassination attempt continued to reverberate through Sydney's criminal landscape. With Masood still at large, tensions escalated among rival factions. The air was thick with suspicion and fear as the repercussions of the police's efforts to apprehend him were felt far and wide. Masood's network, built on loyalty and fear, was now grappling with the void left by his absence. As police strategized their next moves against Masood, the implications of the stolen Mercedes chase lingered in the minds of investigators. They were acutely aware that the underworld was volatile, where power dynamics could shift overnight. Each attempt to stifle Masood's influence was met with countermeasures from his associates, who were determined to uphold the status quo in his absence. In the days following Omar's acquittal, the criminal factions aligned with Masood began to experience internal strife. Questions of loyalty and authority arose, as those who had once benefited from Masood's reign now found themselves vulnerable to rival gangs eager to seize control. The ensuing chaos led to a series of violent confrontations, each fueled by the desperation of those seeking to fill the power vacuum that Masood's potential downfall left. In a shocking turn of events, the New South Wales Police had launched a determined crackdown on the criminal operations linked to Masood Zakaria, a figure whose name had become synonymous with organized crime in Sydney. The authorities were not merely focused on Masood, they were methodically dismantling the foundations of his empire, beginning with the family's luxurious 6-bedroom home. Masood Zakaria's house, an extravagant $1.5 million property, was seized after police charged his wife, Azar, with fabricating documents to secure a loan. The saga began in 2019 when suspicions arose surrounding Azar's self-declared income of $240,000, which raised red flags among lenders. Given her lack of registered childcare qualifications, despite claiming to run a self-employed childcare business, police began to scrutinize her financial dealings closely. The investigation revealed a disturbing trend. It was alleged that Masood had directed Azar to forge documents about her income and employment history to obtain the loan. In a calculated move, Azar pleaded guilty to 1 count of dishonestly obtaining an advantage by deception. The consequences were swift. She was sentenced to a 12-month community correction order, marking a significant victory for the police. However, this was merely the tip of the iceberg. In the months that followed Azar's sentencing, police intensified their pursuit of Masood. Between January and February 2022, law enforcement agencies scoured addresses in Sydney's Central Business District, CBD, and on the Central Coast, desperately seeking to apprehend the fugitive. Yet, as they tightened their grip, Masood proved elusive. Reports suggested he had escaped to Melbourne in March, where he was believed to be hiding, potentially plotting his next move. Masood reportedly planned his escape to the other side as authorities chased shadows. His journey took him to Perth, Western Australia, where he made a daring escape aboard a fishing trawler bound for Malaysia. Armed with a fake Malaysian passport, Masood eluded the grasp of law enforcement yet again, navigating through a web of deceit as he traveled to Turkey. This transition marked a significant chapter in his life as he sought refuge among the criminal underbelly that thrived in the shadows of Turkish society. Once settled in Turkey, Masood reconnected with Murat Gsy, a fellow high-ranking underworld figure and associate of the Alameddine crime clan. Murat's recent past was fraught with danger. He had narrowly escaped a drive-by shooting in November 2021, where a hail of bullets had ricocheted perilously close to innocent lives. The incident, which occurred outside a gym in Prospect, left Murat with a gunshot wound to the leg, but miraculously, no fatalities were reported. The chilling proximity of the gunfire to a nearby daycare center highlighted the recklessness and brutality of the gang warfare consuming their lives. The aftermath of the shooting led to multiple arrests, including that of rival gang member Ibrahim Hay, underscoring the escalating tensions within the criminal underworld. Despite surviving the attempt on his life, Murat's fate took a grim turn when he suffered a fatal heart attack while training at a gym in Turkey. His death sent shockwaves through the community, reminding many of the brutal reality that life on the fringes often culminates in tragedy. Meanwhile, Masood found a semblance of safety in Turkey, relishing in a lifestyle far removed from the chaos that had consumed him back in Australia. Surrounded by family and fellow underworld figures, he enjoyed the high life, attending lavish gatherings and basking in the illusion of freedom. Despite his physical distance from the Alameddine clan, it was understood that Masood remained actively involved in their operations. Utilizing encrypted electronic messaging, he maintained lines of communication with his associates back home, directing operations from afar as law enforcement continued to dismantle his empire. Turkey, long regarded as a haven for exiled Australian criminals, had become a refuge for figures like Masood, who sought to evade the long arm of the law. Notorious names like Mark Buttle, a prominent crime boss and drug kingpin Hakan AK, had also found solace in the country's convoluted legal framework. Yet, the luxurious lifestyle these fugitives enjoy often comes with a price. The specter of capture loomed as authorities relentlessly pursued leads, hoping to bring their elusive targets to justice. While residing in Turkey, Masood took steps to secure his future. In a bold move, he attempted to apply for Turkish citizenship, which could have granted him legal protection and a more stable existence. However, navigating the bureaucratic landscape proved challenging, and the application process was complicated. As he awaited a decision, the shadows of his past continued to loom large. In 2022, an Interpol Red Notice was issued for him, a signal to law enforcement agencies worldwide that he was a person of interest, subject to provisional arrest. This Red Notice included his details, a photograph, and fingerprints, making it a comprehensive warning for authorities everywhere. For Masood, the walls were closing in. The night of January 28, 2023, marked a turning point in Masood's life. Under darkness, police forces executed a well-coordinated operation at his luxurious villa in the Bassam district of Turkey. The opulent yet ominous villa was not just a hideaway. It was a fortress protected by 10 bodyguards, and interestingly, also occupied by Maud's family. This detail adds an eerie layer to the unfolding drama, suggesting the intertwining of criminal and familial ties. As Turkish special forces moved in, they found a significant cache of cash, hundreds of thousands of dollars, alongside an arsenal of weapons. This discovery underscored the gravity of Masood's operations and his willingness to protect himself at all costs. Local media reported that intelligence had suggested he was on the verge of fleeing Turkey by boat, likely heading to an African nation. This development indicated that Masood was not just any criminal, he was a man on the run, constantly strategizing his next move, aware of the impending danger surrounding him. After his arrest, Masood was detained in a local prison facility for several days. However, the Turkish authorities recognized the need for heightened security and transferred him to a maximum security facility in Ankara. This move indicated the seriousness with which the authorities were treating his case and the potential threats he posed, not just to the Turkish state, but to international law enforcement. In March 2023, the situation escalated when Masood faced a Turkish court hearing. The Australian Federal Police, AFP, were vocal in their demands for his extradition back to Australia, eager to bring him to justice for his alleged crimes. Yet the complexities of international law and Masood's dual citizenship played a critical role in this unfolding narrative. Reports suggested that his legal team pushed for him to be sent to Afghanistan, where he could claim citizenship rights rather than face the Australian judicial system. This move, however, raised alarms among authorities, who feared that once in Afghanistan, Masood would attempt to reach Lebanon, where his wife and children resided, along with his close associate, Rafa Alameddine. The fear of him escaping again, this time potentially into a network of criminal support in Lebanon, led to the denial of his request for deportation to Afghanistan. Turkish authorities, known for their zero-tolerance approach to transnational crime, decided to keep Masood firmly in their grasp. As months passed, the legal wrangling continued, with Masood's fate hanging in the balance, all the while echoing a crucial message: Turkey would not serve as a sanctuary for criminals fleeing justice. The culmination of this saga arrived in December 2023, nearly 2 years after Masood's audacious escape from Australia on a fishing boat armed with a false passport. Masood was deported back to Darwin, Australia, on a flight that traced his original path. The gravity of this moment cannot be understated. It marked the end of a tumultuous chapter in his life, one characterized by flight and evasion. Upon his arrival in Australia, the gravity of his situation became immediately apparent. Masood was not merely returning home, he was returning to face a long list of charges. His extradition was officially granted at the Darwin local court, and as he was escorted through Sydney Airport by police, he displayed an unsettling nonchalance, even smiling at reporters. This reaction raised eyebrows and signaled a possible disconnect from the reality of his situation. It was a bold display, perhaps an indication of his belief in his resilience, or an ironic twist of fate for a man once thought untouchable. Once in custody at Surrey Hill Police Station, Masood faced the full weight of the law. He was charged with 11 severe and violent offenses, a grim testament to his life of crime. The Australian Federal Police issued a stern warning to others who might consider following in his footsteps, reiterating the strength of their partnership with Turkish National Police. The message was clear: the era of transnational crime operating with impunity was over. Authorities emphasized that Australians should think twice before hiding offshore, convinced they could evade justice. The relentless pursuit of criminals was not just a duty, but a commitment to uphold the law and ensure that those who commit serious crimes face the consequences. Masood Zakaria's arrest marked the end of a run that spanned the country and the continent, demonstrating his intelligence and influence. He was arrested in Turkey after a lengthy search that underscored the international law enforcement community's continued fight against crime. Zakaria's fall sends a powerful message: no criminal should escape justice. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel Complete Crime so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Stay tuned and stay savvy.